Here are some of my favorite sites in Scandinavia to visit on a road trip. Scandinavia has to be one of my all-time favorite regions. It's made up of Norway, Sweden, Finland, Iceland, and Denmark. Now what's super interesting is that all of these places are placed in the top 10 happiest places in the world. They obviously must be doing something right now aside from being home to the world's happiest countries. Scandinavia offers some of the world's most unique landscapes, from the fjords of Norway to the beautiful island's sea cliffs. Scandinavia is gorgeous all year, but the best time to come is between September and October or April and May, as these months still offer some warm weather without being oppressively hot. Norway. Now is the time to visit the islands of Lofoten. Lofoten is located in northern Norway, and despite being in the Arctic Circle, it feels like you're on a tropical island. You may stop by a little fishing village called Henningsjar to see the world's most gorgeous football field and the historic town of Lofoten. Rain is, in my opinion, the most beautiful village in Lofoten, with its red cottages surrounded by gigantic sea mountains. If you want to go on a great hike, I'd recommend hiking to Kvalvika Beach, which is roughly a 4-kilometer hike. When you come to the beach, you'll be astounded by the landscape, which includes mountains that remind me of Switzerland and an ocean that looks like the Caribbean and is as green as a tropical island. Isn't it amazing that places like this exist? The Faroe Islands are the next stop. The archipelago is made up of 18 volcanic islands and is located in the North Atlantic Ocean between Norway and Iceland. I have to say that the Faroes are home to some of the world's most dramatic vistas, from sheer sea cliffs to waterfalls straight into the ocean. The Mullafusa waterfall, which is presently located on Vaga Island and cascades about 100 feet into the ocean below, is one of the most gorgeous places on Earth. I mean, the backdrop of the hamlet with a large green mountain behind it makes for one of the most scenic places on Earth. Finland. Finland is the next stop. Finland has been voted the happiest country in the world for the past 3 years, owing to its excellent healthcare system and, of course, its stunning scenery. On the same vein, Helsinki, Finland's capital, has been ranked the happiest and most livable city in the world. Now, since Helsinki is one of the world's northernmost cities, the entire city exudes a positive energy. Everyone wishes to spend the holidays in Helsinki. If you want to get out of Helsinki, you can take a ferry across the Baltic Sea to Tallinn, Estonia, or travel to St. Petersburg, Russia. If you want to see some of Finland's natural beauty, head north to Lapland. Lapland is Finland's northernmost territory, bordering Russia, Sweden, and Norway. During the winter, Lapland transforms into a frozen wonderland that looks like something out of a Disney movie. If you can stand the cold, Lapland may be one of the best sites in the world to see the Northern Lights. The Northern Lights are visible during the frigid winter months, when temperatures can drop below -50 degrees Celsius, so dress warmly. One of the coolest things about Lapland is the snow-covered trees, which appear like something out of a fairy tale. In the summer, you can visit Lapland for tranquil locations with wildlife and environment. In the happiest country on the planet, this is quite relaxing. Sweden. Then there's Sweden, where you must go to Stockholm. Stockholm is the capital of Sweden, and it is comprised of 14 islands and 50 bridges. Sweden is more cheap than the other Nordic countries. The architecture and buildings in Stockholm will wow you as you wander across the city. Vindeln, a little village in the center of Sweden, is located 5 hours north of Stockholm. The infinite pine trees that seem to go on forever and ever would astound you as you travel there. It is such a lovely yet odd environment. Back to Norway, to the fjords of Norway. Lysebotn. To drive down Norway's craziest road now, Lysebotn is a small village about a 6-hour drive from Oslo. And what I think is so scenic about it is the road that leads down to it. It consists of 27 hairpin turns that descend down the fjord to the village below. When you're at the bottom, you'll be amazed by the surrounding fjord walls. If you're up for a hike, Geirbilton, which is famed for its rock wedge between two cliffs, is 12 kilometers away. We're going to the neighboring Pulpit Rock, which is a famous flat-top cliff with a straight drop of about 600 meters. To get there, park in the base camp and climb the 6 kilometers. So if you want to avoid the crowds, get up very early and go to Pulpit Rock to watch the sunrise. I mean, there's no better sight to watch the sunrise. I can't believe how big the cliff walls are. It just runs straight down to the fjord below. It's just such a magnificent place, all right. Another climb to accomplish in Norway is the trek to Trolltunga. Trolltunga is probably Norway's most iconic rock structure, rising almost 2,000 feet above the lake below. Trolltunga is by far the most difficult of the 3 hikes. It's a 28-kilometer round-trip hike that takes anywhere from 8 to 12 hours to complete, so allow plenty of time. You can start the hike at the main trailhead and hike 14 kilometers in to reach the famous Trolltunga rock. If you go between June 1st and September 30th, you don't need a tour guide, but if you go in the winter months, you definitely do. Iceland. We're going to Iceland to see the land of fire and ice, and I have to admit that the country boasts some of the world's most unusual scenery, from volcanic craters to a blue lagoon. One of my favorite places was Raining Fiona Beach, a black sand beach about a 2-hour drive from Reykjavik. What I liked best about the beach were the basalt sea stacks in the ocean, which made me think about how the Vikings must have felt when they washed up on the Icelandic shores after the rainiest fires. The Skogafoss waterfall is a must-see. With a drop of almost 60 meters, it is one of Iceland's most stunning waterfalls. You can also explore one of the most stunning valleys by driving an hour east on the Ring Road. On the other side of Iceland, you may visit Kirkjupilsfoss, a distinctively shaped mountain that looks like Gandalf's hat with a waterfall nearby and makes for a spectacular photo if you travel another 3 hours along the Ring Road. There's so much to see in Iceland that if you travel in the winter, you could just get lucky and see the aurora borealis. And for last, Denmark. With a coastline of 7,300 kilometers, the sea in Denmark is never far away. Denmark is also famous for the land of Lego, Vikings, and medieval cities. The peace, the space. An undulating landscape and fresh sea air. The friendly Danes are among the happiest people on the planet. They also cannot properly define their own hygge. The pleasant atmosphere, a warm glow of the setting sun, the hours of dining. You will find out during a trip through Denmark. Although the nature is not as overwhelming as in the Scandinavian neighboring countries, the beauty is more than reflected in the long sandy beaches, fairy tale castles, and old towns. These are the best sights in Denmark. In Copenhagen, people live on and by the water. This is reflected in life at the harbour, but also in the canals that are sometimes reminiscent of Amsterdam. The Danish capital is relaxed, just like the Danes themselves. Enjoy an organic coffee, countless strolling streets and a combination of half-timbered houses and modern architecture. Stroll to Nyhavn, the colourful harbour area with painted houses and the most diverse catering establishments. Is it the place that appears on many a Copenhagen postcard? Denmark's highest cliffs jump steeply out of the Baltic Sea and seem almost UN-European. Take a walk and look for fossils and shells in the sand, which are brought up by the wedging of the old seabed. Also visit the nearby Geocenter, where you travel 70 million years back in time. Fairytale lovers have come to the right place on the island of Funen. Besides the fact that the greatest fairy tale writer Hans Christian Andersen was born here, the country is full of castles and estates. One of the most beautiful sights is the Renaissance Castle Ejeskov in Kvendrup. Built in 1554 on trunks of oak trees in the water and today one of the best preserved moated castles in Europe. An entire park has been created around the castle, including playgrounds and a large labyrinth. From a walk among the tree crowns or a ride on a Segway to an exciting night tournament or an exhibition full of classic cars, there is entertainment for all ages. This was my video about a road trip idea to Scandinavian. I hoped you liked it. If you did, don't forget to like this video, subscribe on my channel.